We have been raised to believe that all things have a natural order, but sometimes nature can play tricks on us. One would think that rain is one of the most natural and common phenomena that comes from the skies, until water is replaced by something else. From a flying car tragedy to a meaty shower, here are 15 unbelievable things that fell from the sky. Number 15. Blood rain. When heavy rain is pouring down, it seems that the heavens weep because of the world's suffering. And when rain falls down looking like blood, we wonder if something supernatural is out there. This happened not too long ago in China's Guangdong province, in the city of Guangzhou, when the area was facing a critical period of torrential rain with constant rainfall, setting the highest record in more than 10 years. There was a video of what looked like blood-colored rainwater running through the street gutters on the internet. At first, people thought that an enemy force had dropped a poisonous chemical weapon on the city. The next big idea was that the day of reckoning had finally come, just like religious prophecies said would happen. Like most other strange weather events, this one did not kill anyone, according to Chinese meteorologists. The color probably came from rain dust, which is made up of dirt or microorganisms floating in the water. Even though it wasn't dangerous, the steady rain became a problem for too many people as floods took place. Something weird falling to the ground was made public. People would have thought it was another "this fell from the sky but no one knows what it is" case. But this time, they were wrong. It was another sunny afternoon when suddenly several cars along the road had to pull the brakes off their cars because of these strange things falling from the sky. After the event stopped, they realized that what fell from the skies was beer, lots and lots of cartons of beer. The road was shut and soon the news had the whole story. Apparently, a plane that was flying over the area had to offload lots of its cargo due to a low-fuel emergency landing, and thus thousands of liters of beer were thrown out of the plane. Sadly, the plane was found crashed a few miles from the area and there were no survivors. Number 14. Car park tragedy. Most of the time, cars fall from parking lots in movies like Fate of the Furious. But even though Hollywood makes these kinds of scenes too dramatic by turning them into big fireball shows, falling 7 stories from a garage is scary and traumatic in Austin. Only a few months after that movie came out, a car in Austin, Texas had the same thing happen to it. As it fell into an alley, it almost hit another car below. Police say that the retention cables didn't hold, so the car fell off the building, bounced on 515 Congress Avenue, and then landed on the northbound car. They also said that if it had gone the other way, the 2 cars would have hit each other, which would have been much worse for both drivers. Guardian angels who had been through a lot of battles protected them that day, so neither of them was seriously hurt and they were both mostly fine. Number 13. Sun pillars. Do you ever look up at the sky and just love how the sun rises or sets in brilliant red and gold? You're not alone. In fact, this time is called the golden hour by content creators because the simple beauty of the sun's rays makes it the best time to make dramatic content. Sun pillars are the same, but they are much bigger. From the source, the light beams go straight up and could go 5 to 10 degrees above or below the horizon. People often think that UFOs are landing in the area, but science says they are caused by hexagonal ice crystals in the atmosphere reflecting light. Even though they are called sun pillars because our star's bright light usually drowns out all the other possible causes, the moon or even streetlights could sometimes be to blame. Because of this, we can't blame people for thinking aliens are coming, especially when the pillars appear in the middle of the night. Number 12. Avian freefall. It was a calm, normal day in Mexico when, all of a sudden, a big black lump fell on a house and the street right in front of it. It looked like there were thousands of birds in the group. Within seconds, many of them took off, but when they hit the ground, many of them died and were scattered everywhere. This sounds strange right off the bat. Since birds spend their whole lives flying, we wouldn't expect them to die in a freefall. Some people on the internet say that the birds flew through power lines. Some people say that the death was caused by toxic gas coming from a building's heater. Some conspiracy theorists say that it's because 2 world governments were having frequency warfare in the electromagnetic field, which messed up the birds' natural compass that they use to find their way when they migrate. On the other hand, experts quickly shot down the theories and said it was because of murmuration. After getting away from a predator, the starlings quickly dove, and when they hit the ground, they were either stunned or killed. Number 11. Ball of lightning. The phenomenon known as the ball of lightning is amongst the most baffling occurrences on this list. Researchers have tried for hundreds of years to figure out why lightning strikes form spheres, but they have failed completely and totally. Therefore, science is no longer able to explain where they originate. All they can do is verify that they do in fact exist. Some of the glowing things are about the size of a pea, while others are several meters across. During a thunderstorm, they have the appearance of a floating sphere that is a combination of the colors blue, orange, and yellow. They are comparable to mundane and typical flashes of lightning. Eyewitnesses agree that it is accompanied by a hissing sound and a strong smell, which is a very interesting fact. One of the earliest incidents to be documented took place in 1638, when a huge ball of fire broke through the window of an English church. This was one of the first instances of its kind. People eventually started to doubt the notion that being struck by lightning could be fatal. The brilliant phenomenon was also found to have the same effects on the eyes in a number of laboratory studies. Nevertheless, the origin of the phenomenon was still unknown. Number 10. The unknown fireball. People in Scotland, Northern Ireland, and England said they saw a meteor hurtling toward Earth. Even though meteors are common in our atmosphere, as they fall, they usually break up quickly due to friction with the air. Not in this case. Over 800 people called the police to say that a loud boom went along with the bright light show. So whatever it was, it could have moved faster than sound. Many people thought it was space junk from Elon Musk's satellite program, but astronomers in the UK Meteor Network quickly confirmed that a Starlink deorbit would not have come anywhere near that area. But other experts disagree, since the fireball was visible for more than 20 seconds. Also, it was more likely to have been a piece of space junk than a meteor, which moves faster and gives off light in seconds. Scientists said that it was very unlikely that something like this, whether it was a meteor or not, could cause another mass extinction like the one that killed off the dinosaurs. Number 9. The Fallen Angel. Angels are said to be pure spirits who could take any shape. They can leave this world as physical beings. Just like the Bible says, sometimes they could look like those scary gyros with eyes, and sometimes they could be the good-hearted person sitting next to you on the subway. This security footage shows another version of what an angel could look like. A glowing figure with wings lands on the first floor of a mall that is mostly empty, then takes off as quickly as it came. A group of people who may have seen the angel run to where it fell to find out what happened. When the video is played backwards, the spot seems to have been left by the celestial being because it glows faintly in the dark. It would be easy to say that the video was fake because of how it was made, but it was made at a time when there wasn't much video editing. From the way the camera moved, it looks like something really fast did fly down near those people. So once again, we'll let you decide whether or not to believe this angel video. Number 8. A fishy drizzle. Have you heard of the expression, "It's raining cats and dogs"? In this case, it did rain animals, more specifically fish. This is especially likely when strong weather patterns, such as long-lasting waterspouts or drafts, pick up fish, crabs, frogs, and other small animals. As 2021 came to an end in Texarkana, Texas, in the eastern part of the state, the city got one last surprise rain. Several people said they heard loud thunder, and when they opened their doors and windows, they were surprised to see fish and water falling on their driveways. One Twitter user wrote about what happened after the event. Small fish were all over her neighborhood, on the roads, in the gardens, and on the paths. Later that day, experts confirmed that a waterspout did appear on the top of a nearby lake and river system, where it literally sucked in the poor animals until it ran out of steam. Animal rain, as it is called, happens more often than we think, as long as the conditions are right. In 2017, a current took 100 fish from a nearby fishery and put them on the playground of an elementary school in Oroville, California. Number 7. Airplane parts. On a Saturday afternoon, someone called 911 and said something very strange. Pieces of an airplane were said to have fallen near 136th Avenue and Sheridan Boulevard. So police and firefighters were sent there right away. When they got there, they saw trash all over Commons Park and 3 neighborhoods. In one picture, a huge round metal object is sitting right in front of a house. They didn't know it, but a United Airlines flight that flew over the area lost an engine in the air and started dropping things as it tried to get back to land. One person said that they heard quiet noises that sounded like an empty dump truck driving over a pothole. I can't understand how the debris missed all the houses. It's like relying on luck to win a Minesweeper game. In the end, none of the 241 people on board or the residents below who didn't know what was happening were hurt, and the first group made it to Denver International Airport without any problems. Number 6. Dollars on a highway. To the surprise of these drivers, a dollar shower occurred. Almost like a dream come true. It's raining money. Hallelujah! Lots of people stopped their cars on the busy California highway to scoop up $20 bills when thousands of them fell from a Brinks truck near Carlsbad. Folks immediately started rolling their cameras as they pulled over and jumped for joy, picking up the notes like winning the lottery. Some laughed while clutching wads and hurling them into the air. Most of us would have arguably done the same if placed in that situation. Life as we know it, though, is full of party poopers. When authorities arrived, 2 people were arrested at the scene, and others were warned that if found to have taken the money, they could face criminal charges. The driver's decision to record the videos was a good one because the FBI got them right away and will use them to catch the other people who stole the money. The California Highway Patrol stated earlier that a door of one armored truck popped open after a crash, causing cash bags to fly out. Number 5. Light on Mecca. Like an answer from something holy from the heavens, these people saw an incredible figure that left them speechless. People think that the Hajj to Mecca in Saudi Arabia is the biggest group of people in the world. Before the COVID-19 pandemic hit in 2019, it was said that at least 2.5 million pilgrims, and maybe even more, made the trip to the holy place. So you can imagine how everyone felt when a bright figure that looked like a god flew down from the sky. The video isn't very clear, but that's because it was shot in 2008, when technology wasn't as good as it is now. Still, it's easy to see how an unidentified gleam could have landed on the Kaaba or on the black box itself. Other people outside the Holy Mosque saw a flash of light come down from heaven. In other words, there were only 2 possible answers to the mystery. This could be a simple camera lens flare caused by the bright lights in the mosque, or it could be an angel sent by God to take part in one of the most important Islamic gatherings. Number 4. Floating City. There's something weird going on in China. Besides the blood rain mentioned before, people saw a huge floating city coming down from the sky. In the video, it looks like it is floating in the clouds, very high above the ground. This is similar to how people in Greek mythology saw Mount Olympus. This video was also shot in Guangdong province, but it is not the only one like it. Almost the entire Chinese mainland shared video after video of floating cities. Many people questioned whether it was true, saying it was a widespread hoax based on fiction. But some people say that Fata Morgana is more likely to be the cause than the fact that people suddenly have the time and skills to edit their videos. Fata Morgana is a type of mirage that is better than most, where the air at the surface is actually cooler than the air above. This could make it look like things are piled up on top of each other, or in this case, like a flying city is sitting on the clouds. So what do you think? Are these fake or not? Number 3. Locust Swarm. Locust swarms have been a concern in different parts of the world for many years. Even the Bible and the Quran agree about the swarm. Both say that they are sent to the lands of sinners, where they will always cause trouble. Even today, they still give farmers nightmares, especially those who live in the country. As they get closer, the sky gets darker, and when they leave, every harvest is gone. 2 Russian boys tried to catch them as they flew over their fields, but their small nets weren't strong enough. East Africa also had the same problem, but it was worse for them because it happened at the same time as COVID-19. The food supply was already in danger because of the bugs. When people tried to eat livestock, they were surprised to find the faces of locusts in the animals' stomachs. Some places, like Kenya and Somalia, were hit by not just 1 but 2 waves. The second wave was 20 times bigger than the first and was almost as big as Manhattan. That swarm ate about as much food in one day as all the people in New York and California put together. Most of us would say it's one of our worst nightmares. Number 2. Otherworldly Sky Chase. This is some of the most convincing footage of a UFO ever taken in broad daylight. It was taken in Spanish waters by a group of local trawlers. The video starts with the roar of fighter jets in the distance. These planes were flying very close to sea level, which caught the fishermen's interest. A few moments later, it became apparent that it wasn't just an ordinary military practice and that they were about to have the viewing of their lives. Seconds later, a weird unidentified aircraft suddenly dips into the water, leaving a tall splash behind, while the rest of the planes were flying over the spot. Some people think that this is some great CGI coming straight out of a blockbuster movie, but how the Navy's helicopter handled the situation suggests that it is real. The fishermen were in shock, even cursing because they couldn't believe what they saw. The chopper orders them to evacuate and return to port immediately. If this were all a setup, well, then those fishermen should be loaded with money to hire at least 3 jets and a helicopter for production. Number 1. Kentucky Meat Shower. On March 3, 1876, just like in the segment's title, large chunks of meat rained down over Olympia Springs in Bath County, Kentucky. An article from the time that was published in the New York Times said that the event happened in front of the home of a man named Alan Crouch. According to Crouch, the biggest chunk he found was the size of an arm. His wife, who was also out of the house making soap, compared the experience to a very gruesome hailstorm. The hunks were apparently fresh when they fell, but having been left out, they went spoiled and dry when news agencies arrived the day after. 2 unidentified gentlemen also turned up to taste the meat and declared that it had the flavor of either venison or mutton. A discovery made 3 months later proved that they should have kept that stuff out of their mouths. Scientists tested some samples that had been kept in glycerin. They found that the wonder of Kentucky was nothing more or less than nostoc, a type of cyanobacteria that grows into a jelly-like mass when it rains. Our planet is a tiny speck in the universe, but on the 197 million square miles of surface that we have, we already see too much stuff falling that we can't comprehend. That's all for today, but in case you're itching for more mysteries, do continue watching by clicking these boxes. Thanks, and until next time.